If you're an ambitious professional man working a full-time job at your heaviest weight you've ever been, it's not because of you lacking motivation, it's because you're doing three weight loss mistakes that is stopping you from losing the weight. And by fixing these mistakes, you can finally lose the weight for good and also get a lean, tone, muscular body, become the most healthiest version of yourself, getting all the career opportunities that you want, and feeling very confident talking with clients and doing presentations. And if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also turn on the bell to get notified whenever I'm making a new video about weight loss advice every single week for men. I use these strategies to lose 60 pounds in 8 months and kept it off for 13 years, and I've helped dozens of men just like you lose up to 60 pounds and finally escape the yo-yo dieting cycle. And if you're tired of constantly losing and gaining the same weight back, I want to help you get to your healthy self without giving up the foods that you love. The first fat loss mistake you are making is when you are trying to lose weight, you are trying to eat in a calorie deficit and you're just thinking that the calories that you're consuming doesn't matter at all. Problem with that is if you are trying to get a lean, tone, muscular body, have been doing that for decades and you just lose weight and gain the same weight back, it's because that you are not putting into the factor that having higher protein diets, for example 45% of your daily calories come from protein, it makes you feel more satiated, you feel less hungry, you don't have a lot of cravings late at night. I remember when I was at my heaviest weight and I was just binge eating a lot, especially at night, because I was just not getting enough proteins into my diet. High quality proteins could be ground beef, low fat turkey, lean chicken breast, and it could be tuna, salmon, steaks. The good protein sources are definitely making you feel that you are having more stable blood sugar and you're also not feeling that you want to indulge throughout the day because you're just feeling satiated. Sometimes as an ambitious professional man, you are mostly having a lot of sugar cravings after noon because your energy levels is dropping, so you need something sweet. But if you are constantly having 3-4 meals throughout the day, you're spacing it out and you include, for example, 30 grams of protein into your meals, you're feeling less hungry and less cravings, and that makes it just easier to navigate the cravings late at night. So to prepare yourself for a long-term weight loss journey, is definitely good to just maintaining this high quality protein diet, because in the end of the day, if you want to lose weight, it doesn't only take 1 week. You should be in a calorie deficit throughout several weeks in order for your body to identify it as in a calorie deficit and it's just burning more fat all around your body. So you are not also not able to spot reduce when you are losing weight, because depending on how your body structure, who you are, some people are just losing weight around their face at first, and then the last place is the stomach area or other places like love handles, belly fat, thighs. It can be very different, but you also want to take into the factor that if you're constantly feeling tired and you have no idea of what you should be eating to have higher energy levels, because it definitely just ruins your career opportunities, that you are having no focus at work and you are not getting all the promotions you want, feeling so frustrated about that, and you hate how you look yourself in the mirror whenever you are going to the toilet. It's also because you're not having enough carbs into your diet. I see a lot of overweight, ambitious professional men embarking on this weight loss journey, especially after Christmas. They are just cutting out all the carbs, and eventually, after 1 week, they are seeing that they are losing some weight, but it's mostly just water weight. For example, if you are eating 1 grams of carbs, you are also having attached 3-4 grams of water. So if you're eating 200 grams of carbs each day and there's a lot of water, but if you're removing all that, you are just reducing a lot of water weight, and that's going to get you into this cycle of, oh, you are actually losing weight, but because it's not a sustainable way to lose weight, because not having any carbs in your diet makes you feel that you are having a problem with recovery after working out, because you're breaking down all these muscle tissues. So not having enough carbs, like 40% of your daily calories coming from high quality protein, high quality carb sources. They could be fast digestible carbs to get that fast injection of fast energy. That could be whole wheat, it could be pasta, white pasta, it could be bananas, it could be nuts, some nuts, not so much like Mars bar. It could be muesli bar. There could be white bread, for example, and then you switch that up with some slow digestible carbs. It could be whole wheat pasta, whole wheat bread. It could be quinoa, bulgur, a lot of slow digestible carb resource because they give you this more stabilized energy level throughout the day. So you have to combine the protein sources as well as the carbs because the amount of energy you are releasing throughout the day is just going to be more slow. And then you also have this more endurance when you are, for example, at work and want trying to concentrate. So calories definitely matter. So it's not about just eating a bunch of shit that you are not going to benefit you. For example, if you're thinking that you want to eat 1800 calories to be in 200 calories to lose weight and you're getting all that from McDonald's, there's not so much nutrition in McDonald's food. For example, there's not high in fiber. So if it's not high in fiber, for example, I recommend 20-40 grams of fiber. That makes you feel way more hungry, and that also makes it difficult to, for example, navigate the evenings because you're just having a lot of cravings and you want to indulge, and you're also having trouble with sleeping. Love to know, what is your biggest takeaway so far? Just comment below and let me know. The next mistake you're making as an ambitious professional man is that you are still believing that something that's called fat burning foods. And fat burning foods are, according to a lot of the internet, is just viral posts that is talking about you can burn way more fat by eating foods, for example, blueberries. It could be quinoa, broccoli. Problem with that is just wrong because there's not such thing at all. What there is instead, there are foods that are low in calories but high in satiation. So what that means is that you are just eating fewer calorie amount of foods where, for example, it could be Greek yogurt and you have high satiation, you are not feeling so hungry. It could also be lean quality protein source. That could be chicken breast, it could be salmon, tuna. It could also just be, for example, broccoli, veggies like iceberg salad, carrots, and potatoes as well. They are also very low in calories and high in satiation, so you don't feel the urge to binge eat all the time. And it also helps to stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day because you're not feeling the urge to crave afternoon when you are at work. And it also doesn't ruin your focus and mentality when you are, for example, going to the gym afterwards. So I always recommend that when you are making a weight loss diet, you should definitely have, like, let's say 40% of the daily calories come from protein sources, high quality protein sources, because you want to hit your protein intake throughout the day so you are able to burn fat even more. When you're in a calorie deficit, you are always going to lose weight, but how you want to lose weight is a tricky process. What I'm teaching my clients is that you want to have a high quality protein sources, like high calories from protein, and then you are in calorie deficit, so you're keeping all the muscles as well as building a lot more muscles and burning all the fat as much as you can. Because if you're doing this, you're burning 100-200 calories even more just by switching over to a high calorie diet with lots of protein. And also, when you are on a weight loss diet, you want to eat as much as possible without feeling that you are feeling too full, and also you're struggling with getting in the foods. For example, I remember when I was at my heaviest and was struggling with losing weight, I was thinking that I needed to eat 5 meals a day because that's just what I was told that this was a great idea. But I just feel very sluggish and also stressed because I needed to meal prep all the time and didn't want to spend so much time doing that. So instead, I switched over to intermittent fasting, where I was eating 3 times a day. For example, I was fasting 16 hours, and there could be the last meal was 9 p.m. the day before. Then I was waking up 7 a.m. and having my next meal could be 1 o'clock, like 1 p.m. So that was just having a lot more calories that I can put into these 3 meals, like 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 p.m. So it's also about figuring out the way you want to structure your meal plan to make sure that you are getting the right nutrition. And I know that a lot of you men who've been yo-yo dieting for so many decades, you just keep doing the same mistakes. I'm also going to be very confident that you're doing these same mistakes that you've been doing for the last decades this after a new year, because you just thinking doing the same things is going to help you. But if you keep doing the same things, is in my opinion, you're always getting the same mistake, like the same results. So if you're doing something different, you're getting different results. And I remember I was just doing the same shit every single year, but I was not seeing the results until I hired a coach. I actually hired three coaches because I was not seeing the results that I want from the first couple of times. But eventually I learned all the things that I'm going to teach you. So if you are just having 3 meals a day, for example, and you're focusing on at least 30 grams of protein, and you having a lot more low calorie foods with more high density, you feel way more full throughout the whole day, and you don't feel sad, like you are having a lot of cravings. And in regards to when you're waking up 7 a.m., you're thinking, how am I possibly going to go through the day with like the next 6 hours without getting any foods? I'm only drinking like a liter of water because I want to reduce the hunger levels, as well as black coffee. There's caffeine that also reduces the hunger cravings. So these are some of the small tips that you can use. And also, I'm just trying to get myself occupied. I'm going to the gym, working out. When you are someone who's never working out fasted with intermittent fasting, you can always just try it. You don't need to work out like heavily in the beginning. You want to get your body accustomed to how to work out this way, and drinking like 2-3 liters of water throughout the couple of 4-5 hours you are fasting, because it's just easier for you to maintain this like control of the hunger. The third fat loss mistake you're making is that you're still believing in something that's called intuitive eating, where you are just trying to listen to your body and honor it by eating what you feel like it's needing. Problem is that a lot of you ambitious men don't have any clue on what your body actually needs, because you are just keep doing the same mistakes all the time, and you're getting fatter every single year, and you are not liking what you see in the mirror, and have diabetes, health issues, high blood pressure, you have trouble breathing, you don't fit any of the clothes that you really want, and feeling lack of confidence when you talk with colleagues and clients. So if you are at this point, it's definitely a good idea to stop listening to the what you think that your body needs, because in this society it's just way different compared to like 1,000 years ago, or a couple of 100 years ago. Because when you are imagine like a couple of 100 years ago, there weren't a lot of foods that were packed with sugar and oil. It was more very clean foods, like whole foods. For example, there were boiled potatoes without anything. There were chicken, lean chicken breast. You can just eat that, and not so much sauce. And it was way more like whole foods. For example, veggies. It wasn't so much packed like all the factories are doing. That's just pre-packaging a lot of the foods, that is putting a lot of butter, oil. And if you imagine that you are just eating whatever you feel like your body needs, it's also tricky, because a lot of the foods today, for example, if you are eating a pack of sandwich, they are putting way too much butter and oil in it. And if you thinking of eating 300 calories, for example, then you can most likely just eating 600-700 calories, because you are not aware of how much butter and oil they're putting into the food. And if you're going to a restaurant and you are trying to eat 1,800 calories to be in a calorie deficit, and your calorie deficit for the day is like 300 calories. So if you are eating 1,800 calories throughout the day, and you're just going to, for example, the canteen at work, you are eating based on what you think, and you also late at night you're going out to a restaurant. The problem with that is, if you're using MyFitnessPal and you're trying to get an estimate of what you should be eating to be in a calorie deficit, you're not aware of what type of, like, you're eating chicken breast with rice, veggies, for example, at a restaurant. You're not aware of how much butter and oil the cooks have been putting into this chicken. You don't know how much butter they put into the rice and how they were frying the veggies. That makes it very difficult to get an estimate. So by weighing all the foods at home, for example, meal prepping is a way faster and more secure way to lose weight, because you are meal prepping at home. You're weighing all the foods in a raw state, so you get the right nutrition from that. And when it's in a cooked state, is the amount of nutrition is just way different. So being very specific with that is easier. And the longer you've been dieting, and let's say that you, just like me, have been losing all the weight that you want, and you're not at your heaviest weight anymore, but you're at your healthiest weight, then you can get a more better idea of what you should be eating, because you've been through all the weight loss journey, and you know more about, for example, quality lean protein sources, fast and slow digestible carbs. So let's imagine that you're on a holiday. When I'm on holiday, I'm not eating like after a meal plan, because I have an understanding of kinds of foods that my body needs to be in a calorie deficit, for example, or I just want to chill but still eating like healthy. So eating healthy is also very broad term, because eating healthy is very difficult to estimate. So if you're still doing this, listen to your body, and you want to lose weight, don't do it. I used to do that with just listening to my body. It didn't help me. So I just want you guys to avoid the same pains that I've been through. I want to share a bonus mistake that you've been making, but also a solution to that. Let's imagine that you are on a weight loss journey and you feel very hungry all the time, and you think that being hungry is not a good thing. To be totally upfront, when I was trying to be in a calorie deficit, when I was starting out at my heaviest weight, I was thinking, oh, now I really need to eat way more because I'm just feeling hungry. But when you're in a calorie deficit, your body is just eating way less calories than your body needs to maintain its current weight, and that also signals a lot of signals to your body that it's hungry. And the way we navigate that is you want to trick your body to feeling full and also stopping the cravings. So by doing that, you are, let's imagine that you are eating 1800 calories to be in a calorie deficit of 200 or 300 calories, and then you want to definitely have 40% of your daily calories come from carbs as well, because you are feeling hungry if you are eating less. For example, eating high carb diets is also increasing the satiation, reducing the, for example, the food cravings. You are also wanting to feel that you are drinking 4 or 5 liters of water every single day, because by eating in a low calorie deficit diet, you are just feeling hungry. So by tricking your body, by drinking more water, you are filling up your stomach with more like empty foods. And it also doesn't make you feel that you want to indulge in, for example, candy afternoon, because you're just feeling full. And also drinking black coffee that has caffeine, that also reduces the hunger levels, as well as, for example, if you have like any cravings. I always have cravings late at night. So what I'm doing with my diet is that I have a Diet Coke at home without any calories, that just give me that sweetness that can trick my body to think that it's getting some sweetness. But that's definitely something that I've been implementing the last 13 years, that when I was keeping the weight off. But now I'm just in a phase where I'm trying to build more muscle through a lean bulk, and then I'm trying to lose more weight through a mini cut. Mini cut is just a shorter period of time where you are losing more fat, because if you are constantly into the cycle of building more lean muscle mass, you are trying to focusing on the smaller part of the body where you are not getting it so fully developed. I always picture the Greek god or model figures, because I always a proponent of old school bodybuilding, where they are beautiful, toned, lean, muscular bodies, and they are crafting their bodies like an artist. So you're constantly getting more broad shoulders, bigger arms, bigger upper chest, and toned abs, big wide back and thighs. And you also want to have to be symmetry, so there's not some body part that's throwing you off your physique. So if you're someone who really wants to get a lean, toned, muscular body, and you are at your heaviest what you've ever been and become the most healthiest version of yourself, Just like you saw with myself and the client transformation in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description and also in the comment section where you can apply for coaching with me, and we'll see if we are fit to work together. I'd love to see if I can support you as much as I can. I wish you all the best, and make sure that you hit the like button and also book a call if you are feeling that you are fit for my program. Looking forward.